what is more epic than this? If you're into Bigfoot and you love the outdoors, I'm in like the world's hottest Bigfoot spot in an epic thunderstorm, in a place where some would say these are tree structures. Now, that looks like a print. I mean, is that a print? Okay, I'm up here in Nordegg, or about 40 kilometers north of Nordegg, off the Forestry Trunk Road. So I'm not too sure what I think of these structures in general, just because these types of trees are so prone to bend and snap, and so many of them can come over in a windstorm that moves through and just knocks a bunch of them down, and one comes down and then another comes down, falls differently, and then pulls that first tree in a weird direction. It can look like it was maybe shoved. See how you can see a trail here? This is either a place where people have come up enough, or it's a game trail. And you know, when animals use the same trails, it's pretty obvious, like a moose. Where I'm from in New England, you'll see, you know, faint trails like this all the time. I would say that this is likely natural. But this area is definitely known for tree structures. I feel like all you have to do is like really just look hard enough and you can see a logical explanation for these structures. I am convinced that this is one of the best places in the world for Bigfoot activity. This Nordegg area is really known for its tree breaks. You know, a tree that goes maybe halfway up or 8 feet up, something like that, and it's snapped, like a thick tree that'll be snapped and people tend to see them and going in the same direction as to indicate something, or is all natural. I saw something similar to that in Bluff Creek, and I know Les Stroud came out here and did his show, which was amazing. Mountain Beast Mysteries is another channel that does really good work up in this area. Be sure to check that out. These types of forests that I'm seeing right now, and just the Canadian Rockies in general, really remind me of Alaska. Just the most pristine looking, wild, rugged landscapes. Obviously, perfectly diverse ecosystems with the biggest game in North America all living here. You also have lynx and bobcat, and I will say, if you don't know what a lynx sounds like when it screams, when it's in trouble, when it's fighting, or what a bobcat can sound like, it sounds like a witch is screaming in the woods. And if you were camping alone and you heard that, even if I heard it now, I still think I would think it was a witch, or a Bigfoot or whatever, some paranormal thing. A lot of these crazy sounds that people hear can absolutely be attributed to lynx, bobcats, porcupines, foxes, mountain lions. They all make incredibly weird sounds. Okay, found an area along the river. I'm bringing my backpack because I'm prepared for anything. I'm prepared for a backpack. Obviously, I didn't get here with enough time to do a long backpack on my first night, so I'm gonna get moving. Let's do this. Well, it's the problem when you're running late on time in the wild, so you lose sun quick. I'm gonna go a little further down this little ATV trail. First thing I do is set up my tent. It's been raining, rain could move in, and it also gets dark quickly out here, and I will tell you, there is a massive difference between being out in a place like this during the day and being out in a place like this alone at night. It changes quick. Cheers. Night one. Let's do this. Now, if Bigfoot is out here, I would have to assume that from the second I pulled up and closed my car door, they know I'm here. I know it's risky, and I don't recommend to anybody else to do this, but I just think if you're alone, you're less of a threat. There's more likelihood that they might come in close. I can only draw them in. I can't go to them. So all I can hope to do is to go to the squatchiest places possible, talk to the local experts in that area who tell me this is the place to go. In fact, Ken Walker, the scariest thing I think he told me was if I see rock piles up on the highest banks of these rivers, it means that they are with me. So that's another scary thing to think about. Don't get me wrong, I don't think I'm fooling anything by making noises like that. I'm not expecting a Sasquatch out in the woods to say, oh, there's another Bigfoot over there. No, just attempting to draw in its curiosity. Just sent a GPS text out on my Garmin satellite communicator. So anytime you're in a place like this alone, you want to make sure people know where you are. So I let them know that I'm here. Now I'm going to walk through some thick, dark, scary woods. You gotta make noise in grizzly country. Hey now, this is a bad idea, by the way. Don't ever hike alone in grizzly country, especially at night. Been here in Nordegg alone, walking on these quiet, remote ATV trails at night. Hey now. Hey now, hey now. Don't want to surprise a grizz. Well, the camera can see me, but I can't see a single thing. You would think I would have learned my lessons after the Blue Mountains, but I don't know. So far I'm not getting that creepy feeling. If I get the creepy feeling, yeah, I'll likely turn around. Let's explore and see what happens. Pretty scary if I heard anything back. If anything was out here, like Sasquatch, it already knows I'm here. And it's maybe assessing the situation, maybe deciding how dumb I am, how idiotic is this guy to walk these roads and make some noises and think that we're going to interact with him. I don't know. There's something about me. I only come out here with good intentions. I'm obsessed with the wilderness. Kills me how much damage we've done to the wilderness. And I think for that reason, maybe we have something in common. And that's where my obsession with Bigfoot comes in, I think, is the fact that there's a species out here that just found a way to never leave nature, be one with it. I turned off my headlight and it was just dead dark. Something could 1000% remain hidden out here if it's nocturnal. All right, good morning. No action last night, which in grizzly country is usually a good thing. The plan for today is to have some coffee so I can think. And then I'm gonna pack up. I'm gonna go to one of those places that I can feel is like, this is where I wanna camp for a Bigfoot activity. I've broken down camp, all packed up, ready to go. Let's go, day 2. You know how sometimes people take a photo of something and then they look back later and they see Bigfoot or whatever? Well, I took photos last night of the night sky, just trying to get good starry night photos. And when I looked at it today, I saw it's totally the Northern Lights. You know, on one hand, I'm bummed that I didn't realize that they were there. I don't know how I didn't see it. Maybe it was just super faint. And it really only came out in photos. I'm not sure. Maybe I was too preoccupied by the fear of grizzlies and Bigfoot. Okay, back in the car, and let's go squatching. Well, this is basically a textbook tree break. Oh, look at this. This is, all right, I'm 6'5". This is a thick tree. It wouldn't, like, how does that make sense? That just one here would be snapped like that high up. Interesting. I'm right in the area where I saw that tree break, so figured I'd walk around in the woods a little bit here, see if I can see anything. Yeah. This could be an impression. Here. But you almost kind of have the outline there. I don't see any others. Alright, I'm now on a little, I don't know, I guess service road, or this looks like a good road to go explore, so let's go see what we see, hear what we hear. I don't know, those tree breaks are weird to me. The one that I saw earlier today was the best one I've seen since Bluff Creek. So I wonder if it's really just a way of them marking their territory. Apes do it, people do it. All the breaks I've seen, they're always facing the road. It could be natural, it could be an animal climbing up to the top of the tree and weighing it down and snap, because wind would usually be more gradual, like a bend. This is also a decent moose habitat. I can just tell by looking at it, but also just the proximity to Jasper, where I know there's a good population of them. And you know, I could really see people mistaking
a moose for a Bigfoot. Almost more than bears. Like, I know bears stand up and do all that stuff, but they like hobble when they walk. They walk so weird. Their arms don't swing, and they have no shoulders, and they have huge ears. These little like muddy, marshy areas, moose absolutely love. When you see them on the side of the road, they're usually in one of those low-lying wet spots. Yeah, if you were to walk this road at night and you can't really see, and you heard a moose sort of take off, run through the woods, yeah, you're in a place like this, of course you'd think it was Bigfoot, if that's what you're up here looking for. There's also wild horses up here, elk, there's even some caribou in Jasper. When it's windy like this, you just hear all these like creaks and pops in the woods. It's typically the trees just moaning as they sway back and forth. A lot of times it sounds like knocking though, like as it sways. Just to add to the overall ominous feeling out here, distant rumbling thunder. One of the things I always think about is something really important that Stroud said in his show. And that was, you know, you don't need all these stories to be true. You don't need all the footprints or any of the sightings or all the video evidence, photographic evidence. You just need one of those stories to be true. Just one. Just one of those footprints that have been found with dermal ridges, which according to anatomy experts would be incredibly difficult to hoax. Just one of those footprints found in incredibly remote areas, 20,000 feet up in the Himalayas. Nobody's hoaxing anything 20,000 feet up. Just one of those footprints needs to be real. Just one of those credible sightings all over the world, from either the Native Americans or people all over the United States, North America, Asia, Australia. You just need one of those stories to be true, and then the whole thing is real. This thing is right over me now. Thunder's loud and the rain is heavy. Something stepped there. What is more epic than this? If you're into Bigfoot and you love the outdoors, I'm in like the world's hottest Bigfoot spot in an epic thunderstorm, in a place where some would say these are tree structures. Now, that looks like a print. I mean, is that a print? I mean, it could be two tracks. It could be something stepped here, something stepped there. But there's toe prints. And, ow, here's my boot. I'm size 13. Might be another one that's not as clear. It's right at these. Maybe this is where I should camp. That's a semi-convincing track behind me. And some of these trees are placed in semi-convincing ways. Woo! Done some squatchy things. This might take the cake right now. This tree, it's not from there. I'm hearing sounds down that way. I'm thinking it's just the trees creaking. Is this from here? Yeah. Like I said, I could pull it down in a very forceful direction. Right now it's tempting to camp here. Listen, trees fall all the time, especially in these windy storms. They can fall in all kinds of weird ways. Chances are that it's all natural. See, the thing with me is like you can rule off one category. You can rule off tree structures and tree breaks. Well, what about footprints? What about all the credible sightings? Put it all together and it might mean something. That's not from there. That's placed there. It's not from that, it's a bigger tree. This one is weird. It's small. People could make it. People could do this stuff. I haven't seen an absolutely gigantic one. By the way, there are supposedly gigantic ones in here, gigantic structures. Just seeing a ton of the smaller ones. Didn't grow there. I don't know about those, but it's a bit creepy when you see this many of them. This one's small, but it's weird. It's definitely weird. Why would it all fall in this direction, different directions, and crisscross like this? There's another one down there. Gotta be careful, you don't want to get too turned around. No, that's weird. If that's the base down there, which it is, and it's gonna fall, you would think it would almost certainly fall in the direction of the incredibly steep hill it's on, and not this way. Because it doesn't mean it didn't. Maybe something else fell and took it down, except it's the one that's on top. Like, you could say maybe this one on bottom was taken down from the one on top. It's weird, but I just don't think this tree grew here. if I were to look at one of these structures, I think I would just, in my head, I would debunk it, write it off. I've seen a bunch. And I've seen a bunch of, you know, in the structures is like, most of the trees are grown there, blah, blah, blah. This one is not from here. And if it did fall, it would have fallen the other way, you would think. It's not a guarantee. This is really odd. This one on the left side of this tree, and on the right side of that one. Then it goes around, it goes on the left side. Woo! If I saw something right now, I would be so afraid I would disintegrate like an Avenger. Try to look around. I don't know. I know at least one of the trees did not fall from its base because there is no, it just easily comes out of the moss like it was placed there. A person could do it. Some of them are heavy. These are definitely odd to see. And man, you really see them up here north in Nordegg. But even if these structures weren't here, this feels like great Bigfoot habitat. I mean, if you have an ecosystem and a habitat that's suitable for a grizzly bear, it's definitely suitable for a Bigfoot. They could eat the same things. Now, I haven't really seen this yet. And I'm sure if I just did enough exploring, you might find it. But last time I was here in 2019, I would see these structures, but oftentimes like the trunk would be the one that's way up in the air and the top part of the tree would be down here as part of a structure. I saw that a few times. It's pretty weird. Like, yes, it could get pulled in a weird direction, but for the most part, that is weird to see. I'm sure if you don't buy the whole tree structure thing, then this video is just going to infuriate you. Honestly, I don't know where I stand on it. Really don't know. I don't know what it signifies. We seem to know so little about it, or why it would be done. Okay, I'm back at the car. Gonna travel a little further, connect with the forestry trunk road, and keep exploring. Just about to get in my car, I did hear almost what sounded like a single thump in the ground. Back with that structure, or in the direction of that structure. Could be absolutely nothing. But it was like a single thump. Almost. The reason why I'm not more excited right now is because there's thunder. And I don't know. It could have maybe been a single like rumble of a thunder and then never really materialized. Although I've been hearing that all day and it didn't sound like that. You know, for me, seeing the structures is cool and exciting. And maybe it's weird. Maybe it's really weird. You're not gonna ever say to someone, you know, well, Bigfoot's real because of those tree structures in Alberta. You're gonna say Bigfoot's real because of the footprints Bigfoot's found all around the world with dermal ridges. Or the person you trust the most, who's never told a lie, tells you a wild story about seeing something. Or even the Patterson-Gimlin film. But yeah, I prioritize all those pieces of evidence above these tree structures. But if Bigfoot is real and if they're involved with these tree structures, it's pretty interesting why they would be doing it.
Here's another one. Just doesn't look like it was taken down by something else. About the same height as the one I saw earlier. Again, facing the road. So this one is really interesting. Right off the side of the road. It just looks like it was made. Let's check it out. I think this one is natural. It just looks crazy. I think anytime you have a tree that kind of splits in two, it's going to be prone to catch other trees as they fall and ultimately form a structure. Seeing if I can find a camping area in here. The ground is absolutely saturated right now. Well, it's just bucketing here still. I may set up around here. All right, I gotta set up. I want to see if I can find a place to put these apples out. All right, put a single apple. It's maybe about 8 feet up. Let's see if it's still there tomorrow. Some creepy woods to be camping, and it is super, super quiet. What if you heard like one of those screams? Some of the animals out here make the craziest sounds. That little light you can see now in the sky, that'll soon be gone. No stars, obviously. So this is going to be a pitch black experience. Okay, feels a little sketchy in these woods. Back of the tent here. Just gonna sit here in the dark and see if something comes up to me. Maybe it's better to just come on here and be quiet. I'm sure I'll be out pretty late tonight. Probably not gonna get much sleep in a place like this. And the whole point of doing this alone is so that something maybe feels more comfortable in coming in close. Can't say that I necessarily want that right now, but yeah, that is the point. I just heard a sound directly in the location of where I put that apple. Been out here for hours. Gonna now go into the tent and see if I can get any sleep. This is a pretty creepy place to sleep. Maybe the creepiest I've ever slept. All right, good morning. It's early. Nothing too crazy last night, but maybe a couple hours ago, I think I heard like a little bit of a weird whistling sound. To me, it sounded more like a person making a whistling sound than it did a bird. Which is interesting because I did some whistles last night. Certainly feels like a Bigfoot forest. It's just so mossy, so green. It just feels like this is where they would live. You can even see that my apple is still there. Interesting that like a marten didn't come get it. Well, either there's no Bigfoot around or they didn't want that apple. Maybe they're sick of apples. But I'm gonna leave it. Okay, let's head out. I've now been here for 3 days alone. I would hope that maybe if they're here, that they're somewhat familiar with me. Maybe will show themselves. I know. Be careful what you wish for, right? I could so picture just seeing one in here.
with those structures. You know, even when you see a big one in the ground that doesn't have a foundation, like it was placed there, well, it's possible that it snapped when it fell and then a big piece landed somewhere else. Throughout my time here, I've heard things, very, very subtle sounds that I don't even talk about, just because to me it's just natural. You hear things in the woods. And if I wasn't out here looking for Bigfoot, I probably wouldn't think much of it. Yeah, I've heard like little sticks snapping and certain pops that I just don't talk about because it just might not be worth it. This one here did not grow here. I mean, it's weird when you see all the big trees or branches of trees that don't have a foundation there. They could have snapped while falling. Hit another tree, snapped, and then two different pieces of the tree fall in different places. Here's like what looks like almost another impression, not as clear as yesterday. I don't know if you can make it out, but like there's a heel. And then this is where the toes would be. This is really probably difficult to see with all the brush. I just heard what sounded like a single solitary whoop. Slightly different than an owl. If it was an owl, it was one single whoop. I don't want to make the sound right now. It was like, it sounded almost between like an owl and a wolf, but just one single solid sound in this direction. Got me a little on edge. All right, well, this is gonna wrap things up for my time in Nordegg. Just recently, at the very end of all this, heard maybe the craziest sound I've experienced out here in Nordegg on this trip was that single solitary, almost whoop sounding thing. The sun has finally come out just in time. What an epic 3-day adventure out here
just out in the thick of it. Super remote country, pouring rain. I heard some weird things, saw some weird things. There's nothing quite like being out in the woods looking for Bigfoot.